And welcome to the Get Back Coach, presented by Apollo Media. Jay, tell them who we're sponsored by.
Oh man, we are thrilled to be presented by Battle Bets this year. Working with Battle Bets to bring a fun new way to test your college football knowledge against your friends to fans of the sport. What is Battle Bets? It is fantasy gambling exclusively for college football. That means no real money involved. So create a league with your friends, place bets on college football each week with fake money. It includes spreads, over-unders, money lines, and props. Track your bets and earn points throughout the season to win your leagues. You can download the app on the web store or sign up on the web for free, 100% free. Let Battle Bets know we sent you by selecting the Get Back Coach as your referrer in the ambassador section. Again, 100% free to sign up for the Battle Bets Get Back Coach League. Join us there, and you can also join the Battle Bets Community League for weekly prizes, 100% free to sign up and play. We'll have links on our socials after the show. And before we get into the recap, I believe I'm joined by a Hall of Famer now. Is that correct, Jake?
Yes, just inducted in the Mansfield Sports Hall of Fame. Very honored, truly. Got to have my buddy Tim Carr induct me, be my presenter. So I spent the weekend at Mansfield, did not go to the whiteout, went to Mansfield, Pennsylvania, the birthplace of night football, might I add. The first ever night football game was played at Mansfield University in 1892. It was nice. It was a great weekend. I got to see former teammates of mine, got to see some old coaches. Listen, Mansfield University in the hills of northern Pennsylvania, Mansfield University has one of the best scenes in college football, with the kind of stadium or again, it's a very, very small stadium, Jay, very small. I think like 1,000 people. It's like at best, and it's on top of a hill, and then you see just the mountains around it. I shared a video or a picture on my Twitter and Instagram. It was nice to be back. Got to talk to the team before they went on the field, and big win.
Yeah.
Too. So it was nice.
Congrats, buddy. I wanted to start off with the good news before we dive into the week that was. Probably a good thing that you were up in Mansfield this week, huh?
Yeah, so I watched the game on the way back to my apartment to start. My lovely girlfriend, amazing girlfriend, drove my car so I could lock in. And then we got back at halftime, watched the game, sulked for about a good 15 minutes. And then happiness, hope, which hope can kill a man. And then at the beginning of overtime, my girlfriend, God bless her, said, "I'm going to bed. You're a maniac. I do not like being in your presence right now." And you know what? I don't blame her one bit. Do not blame her one absolute bit. I was an absolute lunatic. So yeah, it was a good weekend for me to have my mind in other places. Let's just say that.
Yeah, and of course, if you don't know what we're talking about, Oregon beat Penn State in the whiteout, 30-24 in double overtime. Really thrilling game, Jake. As you know, I feel like I've kind of adopted the Nittany Lions as one of my teams. So this one,
cultural exchange,
the cultural exchange, and we're going to have to do another version of that soon. With all the fun that we had doing that. But I mean, what a tough game. I think a lot of people. I mean, incredible game, right? Like, we lose sight of that, being as involved as we are in our programs. Sometimes we forget how incredible these games are to the outside perspective. But Jake, I'll let you kind of talk about the whiteout and what happened.
So let's just talk about the game first. So here's the bad. I don't know what this offense was doing for 3 quarters. It looked like, we are not we are not producing an offense that is tailored towards Drew Aller's strengths. And Jay, here's the thing. I watched this game. Drew Aller has the most success when he's ad-libbing, when it's a broken play. That is not sustainable. And then the comeback happens, and it seems like we're running more of a pro style, sitting back, one read, two read, throw. Like, I don't know if the scheme changed, or I don't know if they're like, we're down 2 scores, we got to just go. And maybe that's Aller's problem. Maybe Aller is like trying not to make the big mistake, take care of the football. And when they're down 2 scores, he's just letting it rip and leads the comeback. Listen, that's how they beat USC last year. They got down and Aller just started. And I think he needs to, I don't know. I think it's all in his head. I think that's also attributed to, this team having and Aller having all of this pressure of being the savior, the chosen one. And this team knowing that they are the last hope, probably in a long time, of Penn State to win the whole thing. And I think they're carrying that with that pressure. Now, granted, Jay, they're favorites today, or favorites on Saturday, but even in games in the past against Ohio State and Michigan when they were on top, okay, and even Notre Dame to kind of a degree because they were like a point underdog. I've never seen a team be an underdog so much and play so tight and I think they know. I think they know it. And it's a shame. I just want them to go out there and play ball. But going back to the game, very disappointed in the offense. Listen, the only positive that came out of that is that you led a comeback in that game, and showed some fight.
No quit whatsoever.
There was no quit. So I think that is a positive note, and hopefully it wakes this team up. Because here's the thing, Jay, and it's doomsday again. It's Groundhog's Day again in Penn State world. But like, this team has everything still in front of it, even more so this year than ever before.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things about this new playoff system too is, right, you lose one game, you still have a ton to play for, and Penn State is obviously still a very, very good team. It was weird. Like, I agree with you. The start, this offense just felt so disjointed, and it really felt like in the comeback, it's like Drew Aller entering a flow state. And we talk about the flow state as athletes, and being able to just rely on your level of training, kind of black out and do your thing. And that's what it felt like there in the fourth quarter when he led the charge to get Penn State back in it. The defense obviously still very strong. There were some lapses at times, but still a very, very good unit. Man, it's tough. This one hurts a lot, I think, for Penn State fans. I think this is going to sting for a while. But again, you can't just give up on the team because you still have so much to play for. The whole season's still out in front of you. I mean, a Big Ten title berth is still on the table for sure. Obviously, the playoff's still on the table. So it'll be interesting to see how they respond to that. But I agree with you. It's just there's a tightness about this team. It just seems they seem to play with just too much pressure on themselves. I think it hurts them when you get guys playing loose. You just tend to have a little more success, and it's a problem that I think Penn State has been running into for the past few years.
Yeah, it is, and I don't know, this is the first time you see James Franklin and his record against top 10 teams. This is the first time they were a favorite. Also, think about that. Think about being in top 10 matchups, like 25 top 10 matchups, and this is the first time you were a favorite. So now it's like, okay, James Franklin as a favorite. He almost always wins as a favorite, and this happens. Now, let's talk about the flip side here. Oregon replaced almost everybody. I think they have 5 returning starters, and they look better than last year. They have great linebackers. They are better in the trenches. And Jay, and this was the other realization that I had where I was like sulking on my couch when Penn State went down 17-3. It's the realization of I don't think Penn State can ever do what Oregon just did in the offseason and lose almost all your production. Take a guy, a quarterback who was okay as a freshman at UCLA. He looks amazing. You pick up two all conference guards or 2 all conference linemen from USC. You have a guy from Nevada and Texas State who are all conference. You have Purdue's best player at safety. You have freshmen at cornerback and receiver who made plays all day long. And I'm thinking there is in no world could Penn State ever do this. And that was the realization of we're never going to win a national title. But then they came back. And now I have feelings, Jay. I have some feelings. And I know I've talked a lot already, but this loss does put something in perspective for me. And it's something I've never said on the show because, Jay, I'm I've defended James Franklin for a long time.
Yeah.
And
as long as we've been doing this.
Yes. So here's my thing with Franklin. After this loss, this is the best team he's ever had. Again, 24/7 composite only says it's a talent ranking of 10th, which I think, again, is the Penn State side of things on improvement for the program. But James Franklin, at the end of this year, if they come up short again, say they don't make the playoff. Let's say they get exit in the second round. Say, don't win the Big Ten. I do believe after this season, there needs to be a sit down between Franklin and Pat Kraft. And hey, should it be better to just mutually part ways? Because I think at this moment, if this team does not succeed in any way, that we would be risking. The risk is huge. It's ginormous. But the wins you're having, no one is satisfied with them. And I think for James Franklin's sake, it might also be better for him as well because he can go somewhere, try and build a program. James Franklin is a terrific program builder. I do not think he gets the credit he deserves for getting Penn State out of that. But right now, it might be time to go in a different direction. But just know, when teams do this, there is a higher probability you don't even make the dance. So yeah. I am open to that. Now, I say this to also say something else, and that is if you're saying James Franklin is not a good coach or is not qualified or is a clown or is all these different things or a glorified cheerleader, all the things because of his record against top 10 teams, I don't take you as a serious person. I don't take you as someone who wants to have something productive. If you say, well, he's just not good. I don't take you as a serious person. I really don't. He's a good coach. You can say he's a good coach, not a great coach. You can say that, hey, Penn State needs to move on. You can say all those things and have a lot of data to back it up. Okay. The man's qualified for the job. It's just right now, it might not be working out.
Yeah, and sometimes there is a little bit of stagnation. I think we've seen it at other places in the past, guys who've been good coaches. Sometimes the magic just fades. I think Dabo is going through a little bit of that at Clemson right now. I don't think anybody would say that Dabo is a bad coach. I think you can disagree with some of the ways he goes about things, but still agree that he did some incredible work at Clemson. I think there's a guy that was in A&M recently, in Jimbo Fisher, who I think is perhaps less of a coach than James Franklin is in my mind, but he still won a national championship. He's still done some incredible things. And at the end of the day, it's tough. I personally would stick with James Franklin just because I know how bad things can go,
Yeah.
and I don't think that
Mhm.
college football fans have the longest memory when it comes to that,
Yeah.
and don't have quite the consciousness when it comes to how poorly things can go in a hurry.
Mhm.
But with that being said, if it's a situation where nobody's happy, it's only going to get worse.
Yeah. And I think that is something too where every loss is absolutely devastating. And I've said that a lot on here. And every single time this man loses, it's a chance from the crowd to fire him. They put him on the video board, they're booing him. Like that is, I mean,
It's just toxic.
it's so toxic. And it's like, listen, why are why are we subjecting ourselves to this? If people want him gone and he himself is like, listen, I'm not happy anymore. Um, maybe it's time, then fine. But yeah, I the doomsday, like listen, I'm just as broken up as anybody. Okay. But like this team very much has everything in front of them. And if you want James Franklin to sulk after a loss on a Monday and not worry about UCLA coming up, then I don't think you know him, nor do I think you want him to sulk and be like absolutely devastated because he's got to put on the face of, hey, we got another game this week. And, because if we lose this one or if we lose one down the road, now we're putting ourselves in a hole. It's just extremely toxic right now. And again, at the end of the day, Jay, losses suck.
Yeah.
But like we're talking about a double overtime loss to one of maybe the best team in the country.
Number 2 right now, I believe, in the AP poll.
Like that's what we're talking about. And it's frustrating. And like I said, maybe things have gone stagnant and we'll see by the end of the year. If by the end of the year, it's same old Penn State, you're in a rebuilding year going in the next year, maybe it's time. Maybe it is time. And I hope everyone just appreciates, hey, this guy got us out of some bad times. And it just didn't work out. Sometimes marriage doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying James Franklin's Andy Reid, but the Eagles and Andy Reid had a pretty good thing going. Andy, they separated and they both won multiple Super Bowls without each other.
Sometimes you just need to change the scenery.
Sometimes. All right. So I think I got everything out. So Aggies had a scare.
Yeah, and they shouldn't have. So let's just dive into some of the stats before we tell you the score of this game. A&M outgained Auburn 414 to 177. I think Parker, he has the account on Twitter, Stats of War, does that chart. How bad did we lose? And A&M beat Auburn pretty handily on that little thing there. Auburn's lone touchdown came off of an interception returned to the 2-yard line that Jackson Arnold would then run in on the next play. A&M's defense held Auburn to 0 for 13 on third down. 5 sacks. They were also 0 for 2 on fourth down, by the way. Held Auburn to 52 yards rushing. They averaged 2.2 yards per carry. And then A&M, again, 414 yards. They had over 200 yards rushing. Over 200 yards through the air. They won this game 16-10, and it was a sweat down to the wire. A&M also had 2 missed field goals. Now, granted, they were from 49 and 50. I don't really blame Randy Bond too much for those. That's pretty far out there. The killer was 13 penalties for 119 yards. I think at least 2 touchdowns were taken off the board. A&M was far and away the better team on Saturday. Right. But this game was a lot closer than it needed to be. The one thing I will say, having the defense step up when your offense struggles and sputters, huge. And that's what we talk about with complementary football. When one unit isn't playing their best, the other unit carries them. And that's what happened in this one. A&M should have blown out Auburn, in my opinion, the way the stats looked. The way they were establishing the run. Le'Veon Moss had his career high rushing yards. Just didn't work out that way. So when you lose the penalty battle and the turnover battle, games tend to be closer than they should be. At the end of the day, though, This is a game that A&M has found a way to lose in the past. Under Mike Elko, they found a way to win this.
Mm-hmm.
And while a lot of things need to get cleaned up, this gives me a lot of hope for A&M moving forward this season.
Yeah. I think the big thing here, Jay, is A&M is looked at and is an offensive team. This is a team that leans on its offense a lot. And now the defense returns the favor. I think that's huge even for a locker room sense of, listen, you guys picked us up this week, and I think that's huge for Texas A&M. I know Mike Elko is like getting weird questions too, which I guess leads me to another point I want to make here, not to get too far on a tangent, but I don't think any fan base truly enjoys college football season unless there are zero expectations coming into the year.
Yep.
Like I think every single college football fan base, major college football fan base right now, besides probably Oregon, is happy. No one's happy.
No.
And the only happy teams are ones with zero expectations, and right now probably Oregon, because they lost everybody and they're still on top of the game. Even Ohio State fans are still mad.
Yeah.
Like this is the most toxic sport going. And I don't think it's close. And to the icing on the cake, Jay, is that, and I know they're paid. I know, I get it. But we're talking about 18 to 22-year-old kids, and that's the most toxic sport in the country. It really is.
Yeah, there's no happy fan bases right now. Ohio State's worried about their offense. Texas is worried about Arch Manning. You have Alabama, who was ready to fire Kalen DeBoer after week 1. And now Georgia's so sick of losing to Bama.
Yeah.
You have, just up and down, right? Tennessee not able to win the big one with Heupel. They're frustrated with what's going on there.
They had that bad. I understand. They had that Alabama win.
Yeah.
I get it.
It is. There are no happy fan bases, and there will probably continue to be no happy fan bases as long as things go. But there are some fan bases that are happier than others after this week, and we have some games to talk about, don't we, Jake?
Yeah, this was this the best Friday night of college football we've had in a long time?
I have to think so.
3 just absolute bangers. The 2 late games, Arizona State beats TCU with a late field goal. Houston survives to stay undefeated against Oregon State 27-24 in overtime. And then, Jay, this absolute 3 classic games on Friday, but this one is an instant classic. Virginia beats Florida State 46-38 in double overtime. Absolute cinema. And one of the fastest field stormings of all time. Listen, maybe a safety issue, but
definitely a safety issue.
Good for Tony Elliott, who is on the hottest of hot seats. And Virginia just every year kept getting a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. And now it's like, hey, is this team a national title contender? No. But is this team pretty good? I think they are. And good for Tony Elliott. Good for Virginia, for, again, a program that hasn't really ever had anything to really hang their hat on.
Chris Long, I think that's about it.
I think they made an ACC championship at like 8-4 one year, and like that's about it. But, huge for Virginia. What a scene. By the way, nice little stadium. You could actually watch the game from like the road.
Yeah.
Like up above the lawn. Really cool stuff.
I love the little facade they have there. The stadium is probably designed for field rushing, to be honest with you. I think it's just a perfect storm.
With the lawn, yeah.
But I think it was Alex Kirshner, who does Split Zone Duo, that proposed the idea of like having a timer for the fans before they can get on the field to avoid a situation like that, because it was pretty scary having that Florida State receiver down there in the end zone, right where the field storming kind of kicked off. Like, you kind of hope he gets out of there. And I haven't heard anything, so I assume he's okay. But just wild to see that. Incredible performance by Virginia. They're off to a great start. I think 4-1 on the year. either 3-1 or 4-1. They're ranked now. I
Yeah,
think this
yes,
is the
sir.
first time Vanderbilt and Virginia have both been ranked since like it's either 1957 or 1947, somewhere in there. It's
Mhm.
been a long time since both those schools have been ranked. And Chandler Morris is kind of dealing at quarterback for the Hoos. So,
Mhm.
really, really exciting one to see. Obviously, tough loss for Florida State. They have some things they have to get figured out. But man, what a wild way to kick off this
Oh
weekend.
yeah. No, it's absolutely incredible. Also, one more thing. Since we're talking about bad fans, um, yeah, you know what? Flipping off a starting quarterback or any player as you're rushing the field is to me a lame move that you're trying to do for clout or whatever. And I almost feel like you should be punched in the face. There needs to be again. I'm not condoning violence, but if you are going to taunt and oppose, if you go on the floor or on the field and taunt someone, you are now a part of the game. You deserve to get punched in the face. And
Well,
if you want to live with that, then that's fine. But you deserve to be punched in the face.
and we'll word this a little bit differently. I don't know about punch in the face, but let's say offensive linemen got to protect their quarterback, and they happen to punch when they're doing pass pro. So if one of those were to happen to hit someone in the face, it's just part of the game.
It's part of the game.
Part of the
Yeah,
game.
it's like I
Hey, just don't do that. Like
loser.
celebrate, have fun,
Yeah, loser
and
loser energy.
and let's be honest here. Like I will give them a little bit of slack with they're probably drunk college kids.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
And I think as drunk college kids in our past, we have probably done some very stupid things.
absolutely.
Uh, but don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't
Don't.
do
I don't know. There's no need for it. Especially the bird. Don't give him the bird. Don't give him.
Give them
Do
the
stuff.
Ross from Friends.
Yeah, the Rust. Get him something like if it was Florida State at Florida and Florida rushes the field and the guy Gator chomps in his face, you know what? Okay, I would like it a little bit better. Or
I don't think you should run up to the players in
no,
general.
I don't
To
think
be
you should do
honest,
that. I don't think you should do that. I don't think you should do it. But like, don't give the man the double bird.
no.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do anything. Okay. That's out of
Also,
the
the
way.
kids that like run out there recording themselves talking shit to players.
Yeah,
That is
not
that's worse in my opinion.
that's bad. That's clout. That's what the kids say is clout chasing.
Yeah.
Clout chasing.
We're,
Yeah,
we sound like a couple old men yelling at clouds.
I know.
Moving on.
Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Ole Miss beats LSU 24-19. Huge win for Lane Kiffin. This is one of the biggest Lane Kiffin wins. Is this the biggest Lane Kiffin win? Like, this is a big one.
I think this is the biggest win that Lane Kiffin's had because it really cements Ole Miss as a contender.
Yeah.
Trinidad Chambliss, I mean, what a find for them. I believe he
Oh
was
my God.
at D2 Ferris State last year,
Yeah, Fair State.
winning the national championship there, by the way.
Mhm.
And just a massive pickup. He wasn't the starter into the season. He's definitely the starter now. I mean, he looks incredible. Really could have been worse than the score was because similar to the A&M Auburn game, Ole Miss outgained LSU 484 to 197.
Yeah, absolutely just crazy. This was huge for Kiffin. Listen, Ole Miss last year was supposed to be Ole Miss's year, and they, a big missed opportunity for them. And myself included, thought, listen, this might be the end of Lane Kiffin because this team was supposed to make the playoff. This was his best team, and they didn't make it. And now this team comes around, and I don't know. This team's hungry. You get a nice find at quarterback after Austin Simmons goes down. Like, this is huge. They're on the right path.
I think this is the best team in the SEC right now.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's my hot take for this
really?
episode. Yeah. I think they are the best team in the SEC at this moment.
Who is the best team in the SEC?
Well, you have Alabama up there too.
Yeah, I'm worried about them offensively. I'm worried about Georgia.
Georgia's still there. Tennessee's still there.
I'm worried about them. No, not to.
Mizzou's been playing well.
I tell you what, Mizzou has been playing well. I do need to see Mizzou against someone else. It might be Ole Miss.
Yeah.
That is crazy. After Ole Miss, again, this was supposed to be the rebuild year. Huge for Ole Miss. Huge for them. But yeah, is Ole Miss the best team in the SEC? That's a question tomorrow. Who is the best team in the SEC? We got to get that out tomorrow. Yeah.
I think A&M may have an argument for it too, but I just don't
Oh
want to put
no,
that out into
that is
existence.
no. Whoa. Exact. No, they are, Jay. Say it with your chest. A&M is the best team in the SEC right now. I believe that. I'm saying that.
I think there's an argument for it.
There is.
That's as far as I'll go. Going to the Big Ten, Illinois beats USC. They get back in the saddle. Huge bounce back. Luke Altmaier, I think, really stepped up here. We've seen his growth again year after year. He just continues to impress me. And it's massive for Illinois. I do feel a little bit for USC. Lincoln Riley talked about it in the lead up to this game. You have an early kick heading into a different time zone, heading east to an earlier time zone. That's tough for USC, but hey, you could have stayed in the Pac-12. You could have kept it together and played in that conference if you were that concerned about it. So
no, that is true.
Great win for Illinois. USC kind of back to the drawing board.
No, yeah. Huge bounce back for Illinois after getting absolutely boat raced by Indiana. And you're like, ooh, is this, is Illinois just not as good as we thought? And listen, USC has made massive strides from last year. They're a program that should be good every year. Maybe not great, should be good. And I think they're taking those steps to being like that. But this was a wacky game. But I think USC looks a lot better. They just need to tighten up their defense. And yeah, big win in Champaign.
Yeah, definitely more competitive in the trenches, which was the big concern from last year for USC. We talked about it a little bit already. Alabama gets Georgia again, 24-21. Ty Simpson, and he is protected. He's a stud at quarterback. I think he's very good. I think I worry a little bit about Alabama's ability to protect him long term, but Alabama is a solid offense, and they've improved on defense as well.
Yeah, big for Ty Simpson. He looked really great. Man, Kirby Smart, like, what is it? And Jay, I wonder sometimes with these, there is nothing rational to me that tells me these head coaches who are so anal about everything, who are so regimented that they just have, as always, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia say, they just get donkey brains when they see another, when they see Kirby Smart just loses his mind when he sees Alabama across, or if there's a funny little number ahead of an opponent of James Franklin, they just magically become a bad or Ryan Day in Michigan. I have no idea. I don't think there's anything to it. I really don't. I just think
sometimes these things happen in elite football.
Correlation
and causation. Yeah, correlation does not equal causation.
Exactly. Kalen DeBoer isn't from the Nick Saban coaching tree, correct?
No.
Anyone on that staff, right?
I don't think anybody left there was under Saban.
So that's what I'm saying. Again, that's the narrative today. Well, Kirby Smart has an Alabama problem. Does he get people are acting like he acts differently because it's Alabama. And I don't think that's the case. I just think these things happen.
Football is a weird sport, especially as you mentioned, when it's 18 to 22-year-olds playing against each other.
Yeah, it's listen, it's like seeing Major League Baseball stats and seeing this player is batting 150 when it is a night game on a Tuesday. What is it about Tuesday nights that makes him not want to bat? It's stuff like that. I don't know. It just happens. I I don't buy in to this. Kirby Smart just can't beat Alabama. Like it's a new thing every year. Like it's not a different coach. It's not a philosophy. It's I don't know. Like you said, correlation does not equal causation.
Yeah.
I hate narratives like that.
Well, we're going to do some quick scores from other games, starting off with another Big Ten game. Indiana goes into Iowa. They get the win narrowly, 20-15. Got to see the old safety on the final play of the game strategy, which is always
Yeah,
interesting.
people. I saw like a couple TikToks of people losing their minds. Like Mendoza should be investigated because he made. That means Iowa covered. Jay, you 100% of the time you run back and take the safety, because if there's a penalty or if there is something, like if you fumble, if anything, if you go down early, then you're giving them the ball with a chance to tie it in a good field position, where if you take the safety you can kick it off and waste the extra time, or whatever happens.
Yep.
So it is, people are so, like, people watch this sport and I think like they just don't understand things. So like, yeah, so let's get that out of the way. But Iowa defense still really good. Iowa's defense still very good. And Indiana, a little bit of a scare, but listen, you had that
Kinnick's a
big
tough
win,
place to play.
dude. I know, and I'll be I'm aware. I am aware. Tennessee has a scare in Starksville. They win 41-34 in overtime. Listen, we're not high on Jeff Lebby. We're not Jeff Lebby people. Mississippi State's looking a lot better.
Mississippi State may be the most improved team in
Yeah.
college football this year. And it gives me no joy to report that because, like you said, we're not Jeff Lebby people. But I mean, it's really impressive what they've done. Shapen looks better this year, still making some mistakes, but
Really good.
offense is clicking. Tennessee's just a better team overall. Good fight by them to come back and win that game. But honestly, I think Mississippi State should be ranked. Right, they have the win over Arizona State early this year, which has aged well. I think more people were worried about Arizona State than they were giving flowers to Mississippi State. You can't really rank them off of a loss, but in my mind, Mississippi State is a top 25 team.
You got to see how the rest, like a couple weeks, if they get a couple wins under their belt. I don't have their schedule ahead of me or in front of me, but
I know who they have this week.
Oh, they play at A&M.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, is it in Starkville?
It's in College Station. We'll talk about it there at the end of the show.
Very nice. Oh yeah, that's right. Georgia Tech needs overtime to beat Wake. Kind of surprised here, but Georgia Tech's weird. Yeah. Georgia Tech is a team that I feel like can play and beat anybody, but also they kind of
they're not a team that's designed to just really blow teams out.
Right.
They're super physical. They run the ball well, but they let teams hang around.
Yeah.
Good or bad. They kind of play to their level of competition. Still a very fun team to watch, but yeah, this one was a little more exciting than I think it needed to be.
Yeah. Notre Dame beats the living daylights out of Arkansas. And Jay, this is something we didn't talk about last week, and I'm very disappointed we didn't. But Sam Pittman is out, and the rumors prior, after we recorded, were that Bobby Petrino, who is back, is meddling. He's meddling.
He was puppeteering behind the scenes to get the interim coaching job. And he now has the interim coaching job. Everything old is new again. Bobby Petrino is the head coach, albeit interim, at Arkansas. Bobby P rides again.
There is a really good tweet. I should really write down who does these, but it's the video from Anchorman with the jazz flute where he's like, no, I don't want to. And he just pulls it out. Yeah, I'm not even prepared. And he just plays the flute out of his pocket. Like that is kind of what this is like. Oh, I guess I'll be head coach if you really need me to. Yeah, it's can I say something else? I don't think Arkansas is a good job.
So This is a tough one. And again, I'm kind of deferring to the guys from the Split Zone Duo podcast here.
Mhm.
Actually, I think Chris Vanini, so not Split Zone Duo, but Chris Vanini from The Athletic talked about it. You could make the argument that of the jobs that have come open so far, Arkansas is probably the most money behind it, uh, compared to like Oklahoma State,
Mhm.
uh, or UCLA. But the path to the title is more difficult.
Mhm.
And you also have the fact that Arkansas just put a big investment into Calipari for basketball,
Oh, yeah.
and they have a ton of money going into uh, baseball at Arkansas, which is probably, something that doesn't happen everywhere in the country, but in the SEC in particular, baseball is a very, very big deal. And Arkansas gets a lot of money in there. With that being said, I think this job is still somewhat attractive. I just think the difficulty of the teams that you'll have to play makes it a little more challenging. Arkansas is not as much of a recruiting hotbed as Texas or Arkansas, or sorry, as Texas or Louisiana or Tennessee, even Mississippi and Alabama.
Yeah,
Right. I just think Arkansas doesn't quite have the guys to stay home. I still think it's a solid job, though.
it is. But Jay, did you see the comment by the Arkansas AD?
You're a check,
Yeah,
and
because
that's
people,
talking about baseball and basketball.
yeah, and he's like, but he says Coach Pittman did not have the resources he needed to compete in this conference. Then why are you firing him? Then, like,
You want my honest opinion?
yeah,
I don't think they trusted him enough to give him those resources. I think
mm-hmm,
because he was a guy that came in as an offensive line coach,
mm-hmm,
they didn't really trust him to build up the program. Personally, I'm a Sam Pittman fan. I like him a lot.
yeah,
Maybe he wasn't the right guy for this job, but he also didn't get helped out quite as much and I think what Yurchek is saying there is they go out and try to make a splash hire and hope the money comes in from that.
yeah. No, and like, listen, I like Sam Pittman. I really do. I do think I forget his name. The quarterback. He was really good.
Taylor Green.
Taylor Green. Taylor Green. I think he had a special guy there, and I think that kind of helped them with again with that 9-win season that they had. I like Sam Pittman. He'll be an offensive line coach somewhere. Um, I was hoping it would work out with him in Arkansas. The writing was probably on the wall. I'm not saying Sam Pittman shouldn't have been fired. I just think it's very interesting that Bobby Petrino and his what's the word I'm looking for? His
Entourage.
the entourage, his people, like Bobby Petrino is like weaseling his way into another head coaching job at Arizona or at Arkansas. So I don't know, but yeah, this was a beatdown. I had this is the only bet I lost over the weekend, Jay. I had a huge. We both had very nice weekends. This was my big. This is my big swing and a miss. But yeah,
Yeah.
Notre Dame takes care of business against Arkansas.
Yep. Moving on to the next one. I wanted to talk about this game because I thought it was a really cool moment for a
Mhm.
program that hasn't had a ton of these
Mhm.
for forever, probably since Brian Urlacher was there. And that's New Mexico beating New Mexico State. It was their first home sellout since 2007. Over 33,000 fans in attendance in Albuquerque. Just a great scene to have. Jason Eck has injected life into that program. Eck is a guy that I think we've been watching for a while when he was coach at Idaho. He comes from Wisconsin. Yeah, he was a big part of that program. Was an offensive lineman there. Shocker to, have Wisconsin producing an offensive line. But you look at this, and it's just a really cool moment for New
Mhm.
Mexico. Really excited to see how they build off it because I think this is a program that we thought was left in the lurch when
Oh
Brock
yeah.
Mendenhall left after 1 year. So for Eck to come in and do what he's done between handing a beating to UCLA, right? And we know UCLA is not a good Power Four team this year, but handing a beating to them and just again selling out the home stadium for the first time since 2007. Really cool moment for New Mexico.
No, it's really great. I mean, you and I feel like pay attention to the two schools in New Mexico more than probably anybody else. Um, so,
I feel like I've
but
worn off on you there. I just love that state.
Yeah. First sellout.
By the way, did you see that they got a trophy for this rivalry, a new trophy?
Oh,
And it's
oh.
a Hatch chili roaster. Like the machine that they roast the
Wait,
chilies
hang
in.
on,
That's
hang
the new
on,
trophy for this
hang
rivalry.
on. We got halt, halt. Trophy.
For those of you listening that don't know, uh, Hatch chilies are one of the great exports of New Mexico. It's a cultivar of chili native to the Hatch region, but they have different kinds of green chilies up and down the state, all along the Rio Grande, which runs from around Albuquerque to down near Las Cruces. Obviously, forms the southern border of Texas with Mexico. Uh, but I thought this was such a cool idea to have this like machine that kind of looks like a raffle machine,
Mm-hmm.
and you kind of rotate the chilies to roast them. That's serving as a trophy for this rivalry. It's so New Mexico, and I love it.
I cannot find a. Oh my. Yo, that's awesome.
Especially when you know like the background of New Mexico and
The
why this
roast. It's
trophy happened.
the roaster.
Yes.
Yo. Oh, I can't wait to do a video on that. That's awesome. That is
But
awesome. Everyone
again,
needs to look that up. New Mexico State rivalry trophy, the roaster. Oh
and it's
man,
new.
that's
I think this is
awesome.
the first year they've played for that. So, really, really cool to see. Just a lot of the cool things coming out of New Mexico. And
Yeah.
then the final game that I kind of wanted to touch on was Louisiana pulling off a big comeback. They were down 34-17 in the second half, late in the third quarter, and they come back to beat Marshall in double overtime, 54-51. Just great to see these games. I just love seeing
It's
overtime football.
oh my god. So much overtime football. Yeah, Louisiana beats Marshall. Um, Raging Cajuns
Raging
does do it
Cajuns.
again. Raging Cajuns do it again. Jay, FCS minute.
Yeah, so we talked about the big game between Idaho and Montana, the Little Brown Stein, which Jake did a video on. Go check that out if you haven't already seen it. Montana does beat Idaho 41-30. It was a push. I think it was plus 11 was the
Mm,
line. So little push action there. We've got some big games coming up this week too. I didn't want to just stick to the Big Sky and the Missouri Valley. I feel like those are the two that tend to be my FCS minute picks just because those two conferences have some incredible teams. So I wanted to highlight a different conference this time. Going to number 16, West Georgia, at number 22, Austin P. This will be a banger of a game, 3 p.m. Central Time on ESPN Plus. And then we do have to go back to the Missouri Valley Conference because number 1, North Dakota State, is going to be at number 6, Illinois State in, I believe, Normal, Illinois, 6 p.m. Central Time on ESPN Plus. That should be a Missouri Valley Football Conference banger of a game. Tune into those FCS games when you get a chance. They are totally worth watching.
yep. And now we get into week 6. Friday night, Jay, we got to stop. We got to start. Western Kentucky at Delaware. Delaware is a 3-point favorite, over under set at 61.5. Jay, I think I'm rooting for Delaware. I have to. I have to, and I think I might bet on this football game.
I think they're a one-loss team. That one loss coming to Colorado. Delaware has been a bit of a surprise this year. They've stepped up. They've played really good football their first year in FBS. I like Delaware here as well. I'm going to take Delaware -3.
Very nice. Also on Friday night, West Virginia, who has looked god awful since the pit win and is a walking wounded right now, is a 19.5-point dog going to BYU on a Friday night, over under set at 47. Don't bet it. I have no idea. I just know West Virginia's probably going to lose.
Yeah, going to elevation as well never helps.
No,
So I guess BYU money line is the pick. That's not going to do much for you.
that ain't going to do anything. Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of injuries in Morgantown.
Yeah, not great right now. Saturday, we're going to start off with the game that I will be in attendance for. So please follow the Instagram account at CFBJake. Follow my Twitter. I'll be posting stuff from Chapel Hill. So yeah, Clemson at North Carolina. North Carolina is a 14-point underdog at home, over under set at 45.5. I mean, we're waiting for Clemson to explode. This might be the team to do it with. I'm not going to bet on it. I'm just going to enjoy. Actually, you know what? No, I am going to bet. I'm going to bet 45.5 under. I'm going to bet the under there.
I think I would take the under in this one too. Again, just don't trust the Clemson offense enough, and then I don't trust North Carolina in any way, shape, or form. Should be. I mean, I hope you have a great time in Chapel Hill. I'm kind of worried about what the fans are going to do there, but we'll see what happens. Either way, enjoy the trip. Safe travels.
Thank you. Ticket prices are still expensive, so I think that I don't think people are going to eat their $100 tickets that they bought. Texas at Florida. Jay, Florida is a 6.5 point dog at home. Over under set at 42.5. Jay, I'm going to take Florida 6.5, and I'm going to take the money line. Or sorry, no, not the money line. I'm going to take the under 42.5 as well.
Yeah, the under is definitely the pick here. You look at what Florida has done this offense, and there's just nothing happening. And Lagway, I think, is hurt too. So that's why I'm staying away from Florida here. But at the same time, Texas against any kind of competition with a pulse hasn't looked good this year. Obviously, Sam Houston State, they ran up the score on, but Sam Houston State may be the worst team in football, in FBS this year. Not in football, but in FBS. They're just really struggling with the departure of Casey Keeler and a lot of their defensive guys to North Texas after Skylar Cassidy left the defensive coordinator post. So really tough there. Yeah, I think I'm going to take Florida. I don't think I'm going to take Florida. I do think I'm going to take the under at 42.5.
Yeah. I don't know. We're thinking a lot of under.
Week of the unders. Iowa State at Cincy. Huge win for Cincy, by the way, last week over Kansas. Really good for that program. They have one loss on the year, that 3-point loss to Nebraska. Kind of have to wonder if that game was played at Nippert at night instead of an Arrowhead. Do we get a different turn, like a different result in that game?
Possibly. And I just don't I don't understand. I hate it. I hate the neutral sites. I really do. But yeah, I think Cincinnati has to feel that. Like, hey, what if we had what if we didn't give up the home game here?
Yeah. And the wild part about this one, Cincy is favored over ranked Iowa State 1.5. I don't know what time this game kicks off. And if it is Nippert at night, I am going with Cincy because I think there's just some magic there. Not too different from Kinnick, where teams just don't go into Nippert at night and walk away with a win. And then I think I like the under this one too, 54.5.
Noon.
Okay. Well, that changes things a little bit. So I'm just going to go with the under, another under here, 54.5.
Under 54.5. I really like 54.5. Since he's going to run the ball, and I think we're going to shorten the game. They're going to shorten the game a little bit. So yeah, I like that under 54.5 as well. Vanderbilt at Alabama. Alabama is an 11.5 point favorite. Over under set 60 or 56.5. Vandy to cover.
Yeah, I don't know how you look at what Vanderbilt has done, what Alabama has done. Yes, they're coming off a big win against Georgia. Yes, they're probably going to be wanting revenge at home. But Vanderbilt's a good team this year. What they did to South Carolina was a dismantling. I like Vanderbilt to cover here.
Yeah, I really like Vandy to cover. Although, Jay, if you look, you see the numbers. Number 10 versus number 16. 10.5 is a lot. But yeah. My gut tells me it's actually 10.5 now. My gut tells me to take Vandy.
By the way, former teammate of mine, Johnny Manziel, is going to be in attendance at that one.
Oh.
I don't know if you saw that. I guess Diego Pavia is a big Johnny Manziel fan, and Johnny's going to support him there.
Very nice. Very nice. Boise at Notre Dame. Notre Dame is a 20.5 point favorite. Over under set at 63.5. I think you take the under again. I don't know if Boise's going to score.
Yeah. The offense has just been struggling mightily this year. I think we expected more things out of those backs.
Mhm.
Notre Dame's defense has been holy at times, I guess we'll say.
Ooh.
No pun
Oh.
intended. But I think Notre Dame is going to control this one. I think they kind of realize that their backs are against the wall. They kind of have to score some style points at this point of the season. So I like Notre Dame to cover here.
Yeah. UTSA at Temple. Temple 6.5-point dog at home. Over under set at 56.5. Give me the Temple Owls to cover. I am a believer in KC Keeler. I'm a believer in KC Keeler. Give me Owls, baby. Cherry red.
And I think Temple is another program that has improved dramatically. That we didn't quite expect this from in their first year. I thought it would take a little bit of time. Casey Keeler, though, what a ball coach. I like the under here. I like under 56.5. I think this is going to be a very close game. I don't know if I trust Temple enough yet to have them covering against UTSA, but I like a close game in Philly.
And again, my Philly people that are listening, go watch Temple. Go. It's at the link. It's very easy to get to. Go support Temple sports. UVA.
Before we dive into the next one, just to give you an idea, tickets as low as $6.
Look at that.
What are you going to do on your Saturday? You might as well go watch a game at the link.
Yeah.
Come on,
tailgate it for God's sakes. Yeah, go.
Go to what's it? The little sports bar outside.
Xfinity.
Yeah, go to Xfinity
Xfinity
Live. Ride the bull for
There
me
you go.
one time, like I did after the Phillies game.
Oh man, what a time!
Shout out to the boys that went with me that night, James and Vinny and those guys.
Yeah. Which Vinny, I think he's the reason why we're together. By the way,
wouldn't be surprised.
I think
he was the one that brought it up.
I think yeah. Next
I
up,
actually don't know if Vince goes by Vinny.
I don't think he does. I think he
I just pulled that out. Sorry, Vince. My bad, bud.
UVA at Louisville. Louisville 7.5-point favorite. Over under set at 62.5. I think Louisville, just because it's the letdown game for UVA.
It's a letdown game, and Louisville just had to fight for their life to come from behind against Pitt. I thought they were down and out in that game. That was an impressive comeback. Louisville just feels like a sneaky good team this year. Are they still undefeated too?
I think they are. Let me double check that. Louisville football, Louisville. Yeah, Louisville's undefeated, 4-0.
Oh, there you go. How about that? I like Louisville in this one too. I think I think it's a letdown spot for the Hoos.
Louisville minus 7.5. Maybe the over. Texas Tech at Houston. Texas Tech having a phenomenal year so far, and so is Houston. But Houston, an 11.5-point dog at home. Over under set at 50.5. Oh, that over just looks too good.
Listen, Texas Tech sold me against Utah. The defensive line is completely different than what we've seen at Texas Tech in years past. The offense is still potent, as you expect out of Lubbock. I like Texas Tech to roll here. I like them to cover. I like them to hit the over. And I think this is going to be Texas Tech's year to win the Big 12.
Yep. I think they're the front runners right now. I really do. Colorado at TCU. TCU 14.5 point favorites against Colorado. I'm leaning over 59.5, but I don't love it. I'm probably going to stay away.
TCU had a bit of a letdown game against Arizona State. I think it's more a case of Arizona State just being a good football team. I like them to bounce back here. I think they still have some hard feelings over Colorado coming in and upsetting them a few years back in Deion's first game there at Colorado. I like the Horned Frogs.
Yeah. Miami at Florida State. Probably the biggest game of the weekend. Florida State is a 4.5-point dog at home. Over under set of 54.5. I think I'm taking the Seminoles. I like Seminoles plus 4.5 in a bounce back game at home.
This is the first road game for Miami of the season. Can they do it on the road? I don't think so. Florida State. I'm on the Noles as well.
Yep.
Money line. by the way. I'm going
Yeah,
money line.
I like. Yep, I like it as well. And then Jay, you're fighting Ags, Mississippi State at Texas A&M, 14-point favorites, 50 over under set of 55.5. How are you feeling about this one?
This is a blackout game. The second
Oh,
time A&M has
okay.
done this. Obviously, they had the win over LSU last year. They just announced the passing of the previous Reveille. So
Mm,
she is going to be watching the scoreboard just outside of the stadium this week. Uh, but I think Mississippi State's again one of the most improved teams. 14 is a heck of a lot of points. I think Mississippi State covers. I think A&M wins.
I kind of like that as well. I like Mississippi State to cover. I like A&M to win. Like this game's never in danger. I don't think. Like I think A&M handles them, but I think Mississippi State kind of just hangs around.
Yeah. Fluff Bothwell, by the way, really fun player to watch for Mississippi State at running back, the transfer from, I believe, South Alabama.
Mhm.
Sidu Traore is a fun tight end for Mississippi State. I think Shapen's just a little too inconsistent. He still has a tendency to make some bad mistakes sometimes, and I think A&M will take advantage of that to
Yep.
put this game out of reach late in the game.
No, I agree. All right, Jay. 1 hour on the dot. Land this plane for us, please.
Oh man, folks, we really appreciate each and every one of you who listened to us this week, especially when it's a therapy session like it was for me and Jake this week.
Oh yeah.
Uh, do all the things that help us grow as a podcast. Like, subscribe, give us 5-star ratings, word of mouth, share. Make sure to download Battle Bets. Let them know that we sent you so that we get credit for it. Trying to put a show on for our first sponsor. We really do appreciate Battle Bets being on. And if you're also interested in sponsoring the show, feel free to slide in the DMs. It do go down
Absolutely.
in the DMs. Jake, what a week. Make sure you travel safe to
Yes.
Chapel Hill.
Yeah, going to leave early Friday morning. Looking to hit up Cameron Indoor Stadium because Duke is on the way, and I've never been to Duke, so probably going to see if we can check out their football stadium as well. Walk around campus, get to North Carolina, and have a great night in Chapel Hill. Listen. Here's the thing. I know this game does not have the hype that I was looking forward to at the beginning of the year, but trips like this, the game is kind of secondary. It's about getting together with friends. It's about going out to a different location and experiencing college football in another setting. So, of course, I'm still going to be very, very excited.
That's it for this episode. Again, thank you all for joining us, and we'll catch you back here next week.
Have a great week.